Okay, I think we're live-ish. Well, we will, yeah, we're live now, but whoever's watching this in the future, hello out there. Welcome to the Bubblegum Social Club Review Caps, where we're going to talk about shows one episode at a time. We're going to be watching, or we did watch Gilmore Girls. We're working our way through Gilmore Girls. I can't talk. We're on the second episode, and I'm here with Laura. Hi.
Hello.
She's the one who loves Gilmore Girls, and so now we're watching all of it.
Which is going to take us years at the rate we're going.
Yep, we did 2 episodes in like 6 months. Good job, us. Well done, everybody. Okay, so I'm just going to get my notes. So we watched episode 2 of season 1. We took a little hiatus over the summer. Hopefully the sound is okay. We keep having sound problems, but I have these on. So as long as you can hear me, I might like lift this up just to make sure you can hear me okay. Yeah, so she starts Chilton, which I feel that's a weird name. I feel weird saying that name. And it's so like 90s watching this show. It's so weird.
It really is. All the outfits, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, well, even like the way that they move around too is so like TV shows from that time. Like the way they're kind of like constantly moving, just constantly moving.
Yeah.
Constantly moving. Like the only time it stops is when she gets to school, and then obviously that makes sense because it's a more rigid space, so they don't move as much. But like everything else is just like constant flow of movement. And at first I was just like, I don't even know if I'm following what's happening, but I kind of already know what's going to happen, so I'm just going to go with it because this is like just going at a clip. Anyway, so Rory wakes up Lorelai, and they're running late, and she didn't get to go to the cleaners, so she has to wear a bright pink tie-dye top and like interestingly cut jean shorts and cowboy boots to go drop her daughter off at this prestigious school.
Really good times.
Yeah.
And of course, Emily is there to catch her. The grandma.
Oh, yes, the grandma, yeah. Yeah, that was funny. But like it was kind of funny how long, like most of that was like because I was just telling you that I watched the episode in 2 parts, like over 2 days. And like half of the episode is her just getting to the school.
Yeah.
And like getting to the school, and then walking into the school, and then and then like, oh, the guy who hit on Lorelai, I was just like, this seems weird. This seems super, actually, how are you this easily distracted on your daughter's first day of school? I don't understand. Like, is this why your daughter has such terrible self-preservation instincts? Is this what is going on here? So yeah, that part where she was flirting with him, and I just was like, this is super, I would be super weirded out if some dude tried to flirt with me in that like context and situation. I'd just be like, no, bye.
Yeah. She never turns down a good flirt, though. You'll see that in later episodes.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, like flirting and dating are so separate, which is maybe not a good thing, but this guy who has a daughter who goes to the school and is like kind of fishing, like, oh, so is your husband around? And I'm just like, wow, obvious much. And he's like, oh, well, my wife, I don't like, oh, he's not married, or they're divorced, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was funny. But then like later on when she was like, I'm sorry, it's not going to work out. And I was just like, this makes me so uncomfortable. Anyway, I got a little hung up on that. So then when they go to the and then the grandma's there at the principal's office, and it was just like, well, of course she is.
Yeah. Oh, crazy grandma.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And so I wasn't like super into it until I got to like that part where immediately like all the teachers are like, well, you have to prove yourself. Like, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure? You're sure? And I just wanted to say that like I hate that. So like basically they go to introduce themselves to the headmaster, which I guess is what they're supposed to do, and then the principal, whatever, and then the grandma's there, and everybody's all talking like super, kind of political, like, well, he knows your father from golfing and blah 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 and all this stuff. And meanwhile Lorelai's just like, what? No. But it's also interesting how she immediately does whatever. Not immediately, obviously. Like she fights against her mom a lot, but that part where she like has to take her jacket off, even though like she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be like, don't be rude, take your jacket off. And I'm like, how is it being like you're the one who's being rude by forcing somebody to take their jacket off? The not rude thing is to make the other person. The whole point of manners is to make people a bit more comfortable or have a guideline in which they can figure things out in a relationship, and not just like force people to take their jackets off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be funny if she didn't take her jacket off.
It's true. But I was so cringing, like, no, you look so cute in that jacket. No.
You look like a grown up. Like you're supposed to be.
Yeah, you know what's super weird too? When she had the jacket on, she looked so thin. And when she had the jacket off, she didn't look fat, but she just looked not super, like, because it like kind of just straightened her up and down. And then she looked more curvy when she had the jacket off. And I thought that was funny. Anyway. Because it showed all of her legs.
Yeah. Oh, I was doing some Googling. I was like, oh, the age difference between like Lorelai adult and Lorelai child are pretty much the same what it would have been in real life if Stars Hollow was a real place and they were real people. Because I think it was like 15 years, but I think in the shows it's 16 years. Because I was like, how old are they? Like, is this real? Is she actually like 40 and she's like 15 and it's a bigger age difference? But it was actually pretty close.
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, because I was like, wow, they look really, really young.
Yeah.
So I was just like, how old is she?
Yeah, and I do like that the high schoolers act like high schoolers to a certain extent. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's more heightened, but yeah. Well, back to the thing about like, you know, basically putting that pressure on somebody to be like really good at something and being like, well, do you think you can even hash it out kind of stuff? I hate that so much because you're just like, you might give somebody who has like a chance of doing something great and just they will shoot themselves down because you're basically telling them, no, you can't do this. And like it's your like secret trick to find out whether they're actually going to do it or not. And I hate that. Anyway, it's angry. Yeah. I'm just like, school's stupid and I hate it.
I think that's the point, though. I think they're supposed to be like jerks. You're supposed to not like them.
I know. Well, the thing is that at first the headmaster dude wasn't like so bad. I was like, well, he seems like a normal human in the society, given where he is and who he is and everything else. But then when he did that, I was just like, nope, I hate you forever.
Just wait.
Yeah. Well, the teachers too, who were all like doing that, and I was just like, are you?
Just see if she fails or not.
Yeah, I hate that. And then, so, okay, back to my notes. And then the girl bullies, the mean girls, like when they like sneak her Rory's like student folder out so they can like look at all her resume, I guess. And she's just like, oh, she's coming after me. And I'm like, she's so clueless. You could probably take her under your wing and then like...
Yeah, be like, you don't really want to do journalism. I think you'd be great at this instead. And be like, fly, little bird, fly.
Yeah, that would be much more savvy. But also, of course, yes.
How do you major in journalism in high school? How do you major in something? I'm confused because they were like, she's majoring in this. I'm like, no, what? No.
Yeah, I think some schools like do that sometimes.
It's so weird.
Yeah, because
major in choir, I guess.
Well, I think some like private schools, or maybe, I don't know if this is something I've heard about like in other countries, where they like pick a topic and kind of focus on that topic, and then like senior year they do a project on it, which is basically what college is to us.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of schools maybe have that in high school, and then in college it's more, I don't know. I
don't even know what I would have picked, like, as a freshman. Like, what would you pick to major in school? Probably nothing that I would have picked later.
Yeah, right? Or just, I would have just been like, reading?
Yeah. Can we just go to the library?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. I like how when they got to the school and they were looking up from the car, they're just like, was it always this big and, like, terrifying? So the shots of, like, gargoyles and everything.
Yeah.
That was great. And I also, so then after she drops her off at school and then she goes to the class, She's just going to her classes, and the mean girls are sort of like keeping an eye on her. And then Lorelai's going through her day with the best physical comedy and everybody commenting on her outfits. I just really had to give her, I forgot the name of the actress, but like she's so good at like with the coffee, and she's carrying her stuff, and she's looking for the phone, and then she's going to this place and this place and this place all around town and dealing with people, and she's so like, it's so funny just watching her do stuff. I'm like, oh, you're so good at this.
Yeah. I wonder if there was actually coffee in it though.
I hope, probably not.
Just like, do they drink that much coffee? They might have heart attacks by now if that were real.
Oh my God. So much
coffee.
No, ow.
And the child. How is the child drinking so much coffee at such a young age? I mean,
after
16.
school, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Although I have a cousin who is young, and she drinks a lot of coffee, sugar drinks. And
that's different, I think, though, because like they're drinking real coffee.
Yeah, with like super extra shots of some like espresso or something. I was like, whoa, how much coffee do you normally drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I liked, they're going about their day, and let's stick with Rory for right now. Rory, who everybody's calling her Lorelai, and she keeps correcting them, but then she kind of like doesn't care but does care. And I love that part where the teacher's like, well, pick one, and she's like, what? Pick a name.
Yeah, yeah.
She's so out of her element with that, and I know, doesn't like she and the mean girl Paris, right?
Mm-hmm.
They end up being friends at some point, I thought. Yes. I read. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's just amazing how much Rory doesn't seem to really be aware. Again, like I think I talked about this in the last time we did an episode, like her self-preservation instincts just have are lacking so hard. Like as soon as that blonde boy showed up, I was like, oh no, this boy is trouble. Do not trust anything he says. Stay far away from him. Immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, this is Princess Diaries all over again. But like before Princess Diaries, like just nope on out of there. No. And then he kept calling her Mary, and I was like, well, that's obviously slang for something.
And then they explained it, and it was hilarious because like their school's doing biblical.
Yeah, like biblical slang. Like Mary, if you're like the girl next door. Like, yeah, Virgin Mary, and then like Mary Magdalene if you were the slut. And I'm just like, that's a commitment to your theme there. Like, good job, I guess.
Yeah, I just thought it was so funny that Lorelai was just like, oh, they're still doing that.
I know, me too. It's like, you poor thing. So yeah, as soon as I saw him, I was just like, oh God, no, make it stop. Even though I recognize the actor whose like name I keep forgetting, but
Chad Michael Murray.
Yes, he was in Agent Carter, and he did a very good job in Agent Carter.
Oh. See, I used to watch him on One Tree Hill, so. Yeah,
no, I saw him in with Hilary Duff in the Cinderella Story movie.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I mean, I knew who he was because he was like on that show. I didn't watch the show, but then he was in that, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And he played like the biggest jerk on Agent Carter, and it was amazing.
Well, he's kind of just a big jerk in general.
Well, yeah, no, but I just like, it was a very specific 1940s sexist jerk, and he just was like, it was so good to see her like beat him up all the time. It was great. Anyway, off topic. Yeah. So then she's kind of making her way through, and then she trying to open her locker, and then she does something that I'm sure I would do to somebody, where she like, it's stuck. So she pulls really hard, slams into Paris, who drops her giant project on the floor and breaks everything. And I was really surprised that Paris didn't just try to like murder her in that instant.
Oh yeah.
I was really surprised that she just was just like, leave me alone and stay out of it. I thought she would be more of the, my thought was she's going to be more of the, like, you have to do things for me, mean girl, but she's more of the, like, I don't want you to exist, mean girl.
Yeah, she's definitely like, you're nothing, get out of my way.
Yeah, which is kind of refreshing, because most of the time when you see mean girls in shows like these, it's very much the, like, you're either my minion or you're like, you know, scum. And this is more just like, I don't want you near me ever.
Yeah.
So I just felt so bad. I was like, oh, Rory, you don't have, like you were already like a social fish out of water in your like own high school, and now in this high school you have even less idea of what it is that you're doing. You're
And
trying, huh?
And being behind, like a month behind. Like, why did you choose that? Why did you not just start, I don't know, normal time frame?
Maybe she just wanted to apply as soon as possible.
No, I think it was a spot opened up and then they like jumped on it, but I'd be like, cool, but like I'm already in school.
Well, they're probably the kind of people who would be like, oh, you don't want it, somebody else will get it. And then like,
yeah.
Oh, I hate that. Ugh. Anyway. And then, yeah, see, I wrote, oh no, new blonde guy. That immediately means trouble. And then we go over to Lorelai's day where she's running around, running errands, getting dressed in normal people clothes as the entire town comments on her wardrobe choices, including the dance lady. Oh man. And then like that part where the dance, she's like, all the dancers are apparently taking their clothes. This is going to sound weird. Okay, so she's a woman who teaches dance to little girls, and I guess the little girls decide to change or something, and she's just yelling into the barn like, no, why are you taking your clothes off? And I was like, what is happening right now? It's a weird joke. Yeah, and then so then she goes to, okay, I have a question. Like, what are her hours at her job? She seems to go there for like a few hours, and then she just goes run more errands. I'm so confused. Like, I don't understand how long the day is, because it feels like because they only show like her do 3 things at work and then she's like in town again. And I'm just like,
yeah,
but that's not how jobs work.
No, I think it would be boring if we did have to watch her at work all day though.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be boring. I just wish I had a better idea of like how, because the reason I say this is because she drops her off at school and then she runs a bunch of errands in her like outfit, which takes like forever, and then she goes to work. Well, she runs errands, she goes home, she has a phone call from her mom who was doing an actual thing that like was super realistic about like people with money who are like, well, I don't understand why I can't just buy everything for this person that I want to help. It's like, that's not how things work.
I don't want it.
Yeah, like we're gonna have slow Wi. Oh, that was so funny. Like the upgrade to their internet access, and I was just like, oh, this is so weird to watch. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, and that guy comes back later, but his name changes.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think they weren't thinking the show would actually last because they used him and then they brought him back later as a different character.
That's weird. That's super weird. Yeah. But like they're like, oh, we're gonna give you DSL internet. And I was like, oh my god, remember DSL? Oh man, that was weird. Yeah, so there's all that happening, and the people who are like hanging out on her front lawn, who are they?
Why don't I remember? Oh, those are her neighbors, Babette and the tall guy. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
Those are her neighbors. Yeah, okay. That's why they called her and was like, there's people at your house.
Okay, I was wondering because they just seemed to be like living on her lawn, and at first I thought that was their house and she was going to help them, but then I realized, no, that's her house. Who are these people on her lawn?
Yeah, they're the next door neighbors. Yep, and they're very much in the neighborhood. No, they're just always in everything.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I like them; they were funny. Yeah, so then she goes like to run errands, goes to work, has to deal with her mother, has to deal with the cook whose name I can't remember.
Vicky.
Yeah, her, and she was much more subdued this time. Oh god, what's the name of the actress?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy, which is hilarious because like it's so weird to see Melissa McCarthy not be like who she is now, basically. And be much more like quiet, I guess, because she was louder in the first episode where she was like banging things around and all stuff, and this one she still like got that like kind of weird, not totally there, like in another cooking world kind of thing, but it was much more interesting to watch this time around than it was last time, so I was sort of relieved that this wasn't going to be like a weird thing that I had to like watch every single time.
I loved the peaches on the floor. I'm like, are you gonna use that for food now? Like, what's?
Yeah, that was so gross. That's up there with like people who put their like shoes on their bed when they lay down. It's just like, no.
Ooh. Yeah,
gross. No. Gross, no. Don't do that. That's insanitary. Make it stop.
And he lets her do it. I'm like, she didn't even buy these yet. Don't let her do that.
I know. I'm like, is she going to just end up buying all of them? But they clearly both don't like the peaches. So then why are you even... Is there nobody else in town who buys produce, like, by the giant, like, cart?
I mean, I think probably only, like, Luke and Al's Pancake World, but...
Well, yeah, I guess that is a good point. I guess they'd be like, oh, here the... If everybody knows each other, I'm sure they'll all, you know... It's a small town. They can share germs. It's fine.
They're like, oh, just give these to Luke. Nobody eats peaches there anyway.
We'll just sell these to the people who have a compost bin.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like bacteria on your peach.
Yeah. So that was actually funny. I like that part. And then I can't never remember his name. The like French dude who works with her.
Shell.
Yeah, so he's there like in and out where she's at her work, and he's just the most rudest. He was so rude to those like elderly people, and I was just like,
that was so funny though. I was like,
how is he still working there?
Where can we find the best antiques? Probably your house. He's the best.
Oh man, yeah.
Needless to say, that guy and Luke are TJ's favorite characters because they're jerks. He loves like grumpy men type characters.
I know that's yeah. Well, grumpy men type. I mean, like look at Harrison Ford. That's his entire career. So, agreed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so funny. But just all the times he has to go and like get her because the phone is ringing for her, where it's either like the grandmother calling to find out what she could buy for Rory, or like the neighbors calling because the grandmother bought something for Rory. But then it just feels like she's there for like a couple, because like then Harp lady who does the voice of the mom on Family Guy, which every time I see her, I'm like, oh yeah. She like goes out for like stops for her lunch hour, that joke I enjoyed immensely. She's like super into playing, and then she's like, oh, it's my lunch, bye. Just like leaves. Because they have her playing music to entertain the guests at the is it a hotel or is it a inn?
I think it's an inn, yeah.
An inn, yeah. So it felt like after that was after she left to go, and then I guess to go deal with the thing at her house, and then she comes back to work and then has to deal with the guy who's mad about his car getting scratched when like the poor valet is like, I didn't do anything, I swear. And then she's like, don't worry about it, it's fine. And I was like, well, it's cool to see that she's competent about her job. I'm happy for that. That's good.
Yeah.
I think her flirting ability, she wasn't flirting with him obviously, but she did put on the charm, and I thought that was it was nice to see that like she has a conduit for her abilities.
Yeah, when you work in like customer servicey type things, you gotta have that skill. Just be like, oh, let's gloss over this.
Yeah. Let me distract you with food. This will be great.
Have lunch on us.
That was great. So yeah, I guess she did kind of go back and forth, but I guess those scenes are so short that compared to like the entire 20 minutes it took for her to get to school, that I just was like, does she go to work for an hour? Like what?
I mean, maybe. She is a manager. I don't know how manager things work like that.
I don't either. So I guess we'll see as I watch it more. I have a feeling I'm going to harp on this a lot. I'm sorry in advance. So back to Rory, where she like accidentally destroyed Paris's project, and then which I'm not even sure what it was of. It was just like a huge landscape built with possibly Legos or something. I don't know. Anyway, so the teacher says, well, Rory will help you and you can turn it in tomorrow. And she's just like, no. And Rory's like, what is wrong with you? I'm trying to help. And I'm like, Rory, how do you not see that you are like disturbing this person's entire sense of reality?
Yeah, she like actively hates you, not passively, like actively, like wants to kill you.
Yeah, like this isn't like your old school where people just didn't really know you existed. This is a place where people are very much paying attention to who you are, because that's what they do at that kind of school.
Yeah. Yeah, because at her old school, she could just sit in the corner and read, and everyone would be like, meh, whatever. Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's, oh man. Ooh, yeah. just keep making that noise like, I don't want to, I don't even think about that. Yeah, and then blonde guy just like, he's like, oh, I can give you, like, we can study together. And I'm like, how do you not know what he's doing? How are you, like, you can tell the moment where she's like, oh, I don't think I understand what's going on here, and I don't know how to run away.
Yeah.
And she just keeps talking, and I'm like, it doesn't work for me either. I tried to use that to get out of situations. It doesn't work for me. You just have to say no and walk away.
Yeah. Oh, man. He gets more pushy later.
Oh, he's so gross.
Yeah.
No, I don't like it.
His character in most shows, even on OTH, I mean, well, he was supposed to be like a good guy on OTH, but the after effects of like not being at work, he married somebody on the cast, and then
oh yeah,
he cheated on her.
Yeah, because wasn't her name Sophia or something like that? Or Sophie?
Sophia.
Yeah, that's what
I love her.
I remember reading about that. I didn't even watch the show, and I remember reading about that.
She has a great Instagram. She's very political.
Good for her. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He played a guy who got what was coming to him and learned a lesson about underestimating people in Agent Carter. And I was like, cool, this is good. I like this. He was very charming in Cinderella's Story, which came out such a long time ago.
Yes, very long time ago.
Just a long time ago.
Anyway. This show too.
Yeah, did Cinderella Story come out? It came out. Yeah, no, it came out after this, definitely, because he was older. He was definitely older. Anyway, yeah. So then Lorelai goes to pick up Rory from school, and I thought it was really sweet that like they hugged, like, you know, she came in for a hug like right in front of the school. I was kind of surprised that she wasn't like, Mom, no, not here. Like, let's go.
Oh no, they're the outliers. They are definitely like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of goes back to my like self-preservation instincts that like Rory does not have, because, you know, doing that is definitely gonna reinforce the whole Mary thing. And oh, there's the part where what's his name? Coffee guy. I'm not gonna remember anybody's name. What's his name?
Luke.
Luke. I was gonna call him Jake for some reason.
Pretty
Luke.
close.
Yeah, right? It's got a similar ending.
Yeah.
Luke is like super jealous of Lorelai going on a date, and she picks up on it, and she's like, and she tries to kind of like ask Rory, like, what do you think about him? Huh? And Rory's like, what? No.
He feeds us.
Yeah, we don't mess with that.
Yeah. Well, she also knows her mom. Like, she cannot hold a relationship for the life of her. So she's like, no, I like it there.
Yeah, especially such a small town. I mean, like, I can see, it was interesting to see like him. I thought she wasn't going to pick up on him being jealous. So it was kind of nice that like she did, and she was sort of intrigued by that, but she didn't like push it too much, which was also nice. So the instinctive flirting didn't sabotage that situation. So that was good. I appreciated that.
You just sabotage it later.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, so it's nice. The beginning of the episode did start off kind of slow, but like after it kind of got to the school and she was there, I was like, okay, cool. Story's happening now. Things are happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like they basically ended on that note of like, oh, Luke. I was like, what is his name again? Luke. I'm so bad with names, you guys. That he probably likes her. She's probably not going to do anything about it right now, but we don't know because they have really bad instincts. And Rory has a whole host of things she has to deal with at school. The teachers who are like, you have to impress me or else. The mean girl who doesn't want you to be there. And then the boy who is just danger, 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 danger. Yes. And then Lorelai has to deal with maintaining her level of awesomeness at her job, and then dealing with her mother, who is super bossy and thinks that she can do whatever she wants, but that's because she's rich and white, so that basically is true. And and seeing, it's also interesting seeing like the points at which Lorelai probably didn't really grow up because of what happened, that she had babies so early, and like it seems like there's parts of her personality that sort of is stuck there. like with the flirting and the, you know, buying a furry alarm clock that meows and then it not working.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I really want to see like her friendship with Paris develop, which obviously is going to take 500 years. But like, I'm really excited about that. That's one of the things I got out of the episode. And I actually don't hate the grandma the way I thought I would yet. I don't know.
I do, but that's a hot button issue for me. That's
Well,
that's a too close to home issue.
well, I think because I don't agree. Like, I don't agree with her. Like, I'm not saying that like she's right in any respect at all. And again, that school, I hate it. But I do see her reasoning in what she's doing right now in this one episode. In the last, like in the first episode, I was like, whoa, no, what is wrong with you? And then, you know, like again, the part where she like made her take her jacket off, I was like, what's wrong with you? Stop it. Stop it. But in the wanting to buy her all those things, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I can see why you would do that. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know how coherent it was, but that was my impression of the episode.
It was pretty good. You got all the points.
Yes. Anything you want to bring up or point out or?
Gosh, just looking at it, I'm like, they're so young. I'm just like, look at this little baby face, Rory. Oh my gosh. Because I watched her on like Mad Men, and you know, and as an adult, and I'm just like, what is this face?
Yeah, she was in Handmaid's Tale, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet though.
I don't plan to ever watch that, but I saw some interview. I saw some headline, some like clickbaity headline was like, she really had to use the bottom half of her face, and I was like, okay, cool.
Bottom half of her face for what?
For acting. Okay. I don't know if it's because of the hat or like, you know, they wear those bonnets and then you can only see like from here down or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Not some weird sex thing. Okay.
I know. I didn't realize that it sounded like that until after you said that, and then I was like,
what? Oh, I mean, I think from what I've heard about it, I don't know. Sounds like a terrible possibility in our lifetime.
I mean, I think it's probably more real than people think it is, but that's a conversation for another time in a different podcast called Politics R Us. Anyway.
And they're scary.
Gilmore Girls is lighthearted and fun and definitely doesn't reflect socioeconomic issues that we see in our day and age forever and ever and ever.
Well, except for the fact that there's like all white people.
Yes, no, that was totally a joke.
I was like, what? Are you sure?
Yeah, like the one person who isn't white is French.
Yeah.
Or like the, you know, Asian.
Oh, the best friend, the sidekick.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I like want to know what's going on with her because she's hilarious.
Like, oh, you will. You'll see, and you'll love her.
I already like just the whole thing with the food. Like, you know, she's like, "Oh, I have to go home. My mom's it's dinner time. My mom's gonna be like mad at me." She's like, "Oh, like Lorelai's like, oh, why did you let us feed you if you're going home to have dinner?" And she's like, "Because I like to eat pizza. What my mom's making tofu. I want pizza. I don't understand what the dilemma is here."
Yeah. Also, buying it in bulk. Blah.
Yeah, I don't think buying tofu in bulk is a good idea.
For two people, probably not.
Yeah, unless you're freezing it. But I mean, anyway, sorry. My brain went off on a whole conversation about tofu. I do like tofu, but you can freeze it, and it can be good. And that's the end of that conversation. Oh, man. I like looking at their clothes. You know, quick side note, and then we can wrap up. I realized that, like, I don't really know. I remember songs from the 90s very well, but I don't know the names of them or who sang them because they were just, like, in the background. And so I've been watching all the teens react to 90s songs. Like, do they know 90s music? And I've been watching like every single one and then writing down every single song that I remember so that I can buy them, so that I can listen to them. Because otherwise I just like do not remember what they are until I hear them. Like my friends do karaoke nights and we'll go and they'll be like, "Oh, you want to sing this song?" And I was like, I have no idea what that is. And they'll start playing. I'm like, I know every word to this song. How do I know I don't even know what this is.
Well, you should listen to the Gilmore Girls playlist on Spotify because that's 90s. For
Okay.
There She Goes is like one of the songs. I can't remember who sings that, but you'll know it when you hear it. You're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, there was one the "Kiss Me" song by
Oh.
Sixpence None the Richer, apparently.
Yes. Yes.
I remember like really liking that song and like being around the time where I like kind of knew that you could buy CDs, but not really being aware enough to like want to buy a CD based on one song, but just being like, I really like this song. I wonder who else likes this song. Like,
it is a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
I had a rule though for CDs. I had to know at least 3 songs before I would buy it.
Yeah, so but that's easier now because now you can go on YouTube and like find or like Spotify or whatever, or like listen to like a minute of it on iTunes. But back then you couldn't do that. So you just gotta like, oh, I hope I like this.
Oh no! See, I waited until I heard at least 3 songs.
See, but you were more organized. Listen, you're talking to the person who also didn't realize that you could watch TV shows at a certain time and day every week until that she was in high school. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun 90s nostalgia trip. I'm gonna like start mentioning a song every episode that we do this. I can be like, guess what song I figured out I like now from the 90s. Anyway, okay, well, that was fun. I enjoyed watching that. Any last words about this episode?
Not really. I got into the next one on accident because Netflix just started playing it, so I was like, oh, yay. I'm excited.
Okay, cool. I'm excited too. And we're going to try to do these maybe monthly, maybe every other month, just because life is busy. And, you know, life is full of stuff. But we'll get there, and we'll do it more frequent than like one every like 4 months. Don't worry. I'm on this. I have a plan. I'm going to do this. All right.
Sounds good. Right.
Yes. Okay. So that is the end of that. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next time, whenever that is, for episode 3 of season 1.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.